One punch! Ooh, look at a snake. Got a snake man. Little snake man. All right, everybody. Welcome to the One Punch Recap Show. I'm Rob Duenas, graphic artist Esquire. If you're joining for the very first time, you should know that every week we are taking an in-depth look at each episode of One Punch Man, the anime. It's pretty fucking awesome. Joining me today, how about, is Ashley West from GangFeather.com. Ashley, say hi.
Hey.
Awesome. And also returning is One Punch lookalike Brandon Mega Potato James. Mega Potato, how you doing?
Yeah, lead heavy.
Okay.
Right here.
Awesome.
All good to go.
We're up. This is episode 5, The Ultimate Master. Just quick recap. We got to get introduced to the Hero Association. Got to see some training. We got to see some classes being taken. Saitama and Genos got their ratings, which we're going to talk more about. There was a cool, what do you call that? Training? Not really training, like a test battle, between Genos and Saitama. And then we got introduced to some shady characters, don't really know. And my favorite, Snake Man, little Snake Man. Some rookie crushing, which I absolutely love. And we all wrapped up with Genos finally moving in with Saitama. That should be fun. So, take this to you, Ashley. Board is up. Talk about some of your favorite parts of the show.
All right. Okay. So, first one is when they're in the arena and they're doing the physical part of the hero test. All of a sudden, they're like, "All right, now you gotta run as fast as you can," and Saitama beats them all. And then they're like, "Jump as high as you can," and it's like all the tests that you normally think that they would test for. And then all of a sudden they're just like, whack-a-mole, and he's just like, "You gotta whack-a-mole real quick," and then it goes back to kind of like normal, where they're just like, now you gotta punch as hard as you can. But the whack-a-mole thing just got me, because I felt like it kind of did this whole almost like Animaniacs thing or something from some really crazy cartoon from the 90s, where they would just be like, "And now we're gonna go off on something really random, and then we're gonna jump back to normal." Like, they just kind of...
Well, I think I have an explanation for that.
Go ahead.
This comes back to something Brandon wrote in his little on the board, and it was something that I didn't pick up until the second time I watched the episode, probably because I wasn't paying attention enough the first time. But they said that the Hero Association was created 3 years ago by a rich guy's grandson who was saved by a random passerby.
Right.
Which, if you look at the photo, it's the guy with the giant fucking chin. So the random passerby was Saitama. That was the crab man, right? The Crablante. So I think the whack-a-mole was designed by the butt chin kid. Like when you think about a little kid built the association, he probably came up with the training thing, and then the whack-a-mole, he probably found that game hard.
That was just great. The way they're take it so seriously. They're like, whack-a-mole, and he's like, ah, and I don't know. That was great. I just love the humor in this whole series.
Very humorous episode, actually, right?
Yeah, it really was. So,
Brandon, you up next. What do you want to talk about?
I liked that the whole thing is like she's saying, it's all weird tests, almost like a high school, or maybe even when people like the Columbine, like football, you have these weird tests that really don't add up to real life experiences, like a sprint and a punching meter, but it doesn't really show how they'd interact if there was 4 villains in front of you. So there's no combat type situation that I really like. It's just weird oddball tests that seem very basic, and I like that Saitama just blows through them all because they're so simple. There's no real challenge to them,
except the writing portion. So
yeah,
on he got 1 point for it, I think, apparently, which had to be his name. Because on the SAT, your name counts for one 5 points or something. But
right,
unless you misspelled his name wrong. But yeah, they didn't actually show that part. Let's talk about the duel a little bit. So there's this duel between Genos and Saitama, and in the previous episode where we saw Genos being upgraded by Dr. Kusanego, and he was like, "I'm gonna give you some upgrades. You're gonna be just as powerful as Saitama, maybe even stronger." And so this was the episode where we get to sort of see them test that theory, and Genos says, "Come at me, you know what I mean? I want you to hit me as hard as you can, kick me in the jimmy." And Saitama seems to be having fun with it. You want to talk about that, Ashley?
Yeah. That was awesome. That fight. I mean, the fight was great, but what got me was the end of the fight, where Saitama just like he's like, just go as hard as you can, just hit me as hard as you can. He's like, okay, and he kind of like he does like he punches, but he stops just short of hitting his face, and like all of his force just kind of rushes past Genos, and so he basically tells him like, I could have killed you, but I didn't, and you know, like he just he showed him up,
And he
without,
obliterates the mountain
yeah,
behind him
without killing him. Yeah.
without
He
hitting him.
exactly. And but then he flicks his nose or something like that, and then he just like marches away like he's walking into a casting call for the eighth dwarf or something.
Yeah,
Like
he's got this crazy animation where his feet are
he's
like,
just so cute.
Yeah.
Sorry, I mean I'm gonna be all girly here. He was adorable, just walking. Sorry, and then he just turns around and he's like, like, aren't you gonna come? You know, like just completely oblivious to like everything almost.
yeah, they were gonna go get udon noodles, so he was all
Yeah, he's
happy
yeah.
with himself. I'm gonna go eat,
He's like,
you know.
You don't like
how
udon?
cute was it, Ashley?
Adorable.
To be
Yeah.
fair, that's my favorite animation in the whole episode.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Like,
his march is this marching band, childish sort of nature to him.
it was just I don't know.
It has a Disney-esque feel to it, just
It
like
did.
blum blum dum.
Given how like violent the show is, it just was nice, you know? Like
Well, I also noticed like all of Genos' moves are Street Fighter-ish. Like the first time he loads up his hands, it's kind of like a Hadouken, and then he does the Guile kick, right? He does like a flash kick, and then he does the tornado thing, and then he does the 100 hand punch. Like it's super Street Fighter-y, like all of
Yeah.
his moves. He does the Mega Blast, you know, like a Yoga Fire kind of thing going on. He doesn't blow out his
there's
mouth.
one point where they're in midair, he kicks Saitama, or he tries to. Saitama dodges, but Saitama just kind of like smiles. He's like, like like he's admiring. It was weird. I didn't
It
really
looks cool even to him. That
Yeah,
was the
he's
look
like,
I got
"Wow."
from it. It's like, whoa.
like he's seeing in slow motion, which he probably is.
Man, this looks pretty awesome. Brandon, what did you think about the duel between Saitama and Genos?
It's kind of like I like in a fight where you know you can beat the person's ass without having to actually do it. That's always a favorite of mine, where you can show this person that you could just destroy them, and you don't. You hold back, and then they have that realization of, oh shit, this person would have messed me up pretty bad. So I like that. I like that he stopped. He could have just destroyed him, just punched his face into it, but he just stops, and there's just that wake of devastation. Just like, yeah, I could have just done that to you, but I didn't. I like that. I think that's more badass when a person holds back and they know they could win the fight, and they just don't. Yep.
You haven't had any of those experiences lately, Brandon?
just
Okay.
you know, just whatever, you know.
Something I want to talk about on this episode a lot is there's a character called Sweet Mask who appears. He seems to be some kind of like, I don't know, man.
Say the name
Sweet
3
Mask.
times.
Sweet Mask.
Sweet Mask.
Wait, which one was he?
He's the guy, the idol, the
The
handsome
blue
looking-
hair? The
Yeah.
blue hair guy? Yeah, he was
Yeah.
weird.
He looks like a male version of Jem in the holograms.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
it just, I was like, this guy, what's he gonna do to Genos? Genos? Where are they going? Like, I was kind of like, what's going on here? Like, he's just weird. Like, I didn't like I don't know. Just
and it seemed like he was having these conversations to somebody about schooling Genos on what it's going to be like, because he's the new S-ranked, superhero, which apparently is a big deal. And so he goes to, there's a Saitama and Genos are at this udon shop, and they take a challenge to see who can eat. If they can eat all the udon, whatever, the spicy udon challenge. If they can finish it, then they get paid out, and if they don't, they owe money basically. And apparently Saitama loses that challenge, so spicy food seems to be his weakness, and Genos doesn't. But then the Sweet Mask guy comes in, and then they go outside and talk. You don't see the conversation. And that's that. And eventually you do see the conversation. But I'll be honest, folks, I don't know what the fuck that was about. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't either.
I really don't get there's a subtlety in the Japanese language that doesn't ring through in the translation a little bit. It was sort of parallel to, there's a sequence where I love, this is my second favorite animation episode. So Saitama and Genos, they get inducted into the Hero Association. Apparently, out of all the people applying, they're the only two. And they're sitting in this classroom, like Top Gun style. And there's an instructor called Snek, who's got this little snake hand move, which I love. I love the snake hand. And I love the there's even an animation, the mid-episode animation, just him doing the psh.
Right.
And Saitama's just like
very-
chewing bubblegum when this guy is talking. And he's trying to like, instruct them all like rad. He's like, you guys got to learn to shape up. And I'm an A guy. You guys are nobody. You're going to see what it's like. And Saitama's just like chewing gum in the most dickish way possible. know?
Yeah, I'll admit.
I mean, just a total. I mean, you got to give the animation some credit on that one. That's a real dickish move. And
It reminded.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it reminded me of Kill Bill 2, where you got the Asian master trying to show you shit, and they're just disrespecting, and he plucked out the chick's eyeball. Like that's what it reminded me of. Just like
only
I
this
feel
time
like
when the
that's
guy tried to pluck out
it
Saitama's
would have broke his
eyeball.
fingers.
Yeah. So later on, this guy goes to challenge Saitama, and he calls him, a rookie crusher. He's like, "You're gonna get crushed like a rookie," which I guess is like hazing, like freshman hazing in a way.
Right.
And doesn't really happen very well for him. Like it doesn't work out at all. It would have been great to see him explode Snake, like with just one touch. But
that wouldn't have been right.
no, it wouldn't have been right. Just would have been.
He didn't need. He's
So
just a pest.
it does further prove that Saitama. I always get the feeling that he might be a villain. Like maybe the ultimate villain will be Saitama, and Genos is forced to fight him, but he knows he can't beat him because we've already seen a million times he can't really beat Saitama. But I always wonder. But then Saitama doesn't kill the guy, so he legitimately is just annoyed with him. There's a sequence too where they go into the Hero Association, and there's all these different heroes standing around, which you should honestly freeze frame like every frame to see the drawings of different heroes that are just walking around there. It's pretty funny. But like Saitama's like the only one fully almost naked, like
Yeah,
he's like all smooth, no hair.
I noticed.
Right? Did you notice the bulge?
Yeah. I was like, why is there always a bulge in there? Like every episode.
Every episode. And I like how stupid his face is. And then when he goes to do the challenges, he gets all serious. Like his face goes super serious, and he does all the moves and shit. Brandon, what was your favorite animation in the episode?
My favorite animation. Fuck. I liked. Shit. I like when Genos powers up. That shit's always cool because it's very mech, Iron Man-ish. I like seeing the glows. I hate saying that, but I like the glows. They're pretty. I do like that. I do like when Saitama's breaking all the machines, just to see him run and just. It's cool to see him using his powers, but not like just running up and smashing a dude's face. So it's funny just to see him doing like normal people shit, but 10 times faster. So
You know what it reminded me of? Because when we were going to we were at Amazing Con last week, and we did a whole wrap-up show on it. But Brandon was telling me the story about how they went to a carnival thing once, or like a Dave & Buster's, and there's this punching thing, and all of his friends were punching it, and one guy even used two hands and punched it and got a 400, and then Brandon hits this thing, and it gets like a 900, right? Because Brandon's kind of like a big dude. And so like it reminded me of that. I'm like, oh, this is like Brandon. And then he gets his head stuck in the wall, and I'm like, yeah, Brandon would do that too. And then the whack-a-mole, I'm like, yeah, that's total Brandon. I like when they show all the machines being destroyed and the whack-a-mole's broke. Like, as you know, he's got like a broke hand.
The cratered face of the whack-a-mole.
There was the punching machine though. That's why I was laughing. I'm like, hey, there's that one.
Well,
go ahead.
Oh, never mind.
No, go.
No. I was just gonna also say that I was like, okay, if Saitama is not barely wearing anything, does that mean Genos is not wearing anything either? And it was really weird because he wasn't. He was like he was completely robot naked. Like
he's robot naked.
Yeah, it was
robot naked. That's what they
excellent
want.
observation, Ashley.
And I was like,
As a heterosexual male, I never would have thought that's a naked robot.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it was. It's not. But since he's always clothed, that's what it was. I guess that's
I
what it
might move
was.
into bi-curious now.
If you're bi robotic, Rob.
So when he charges up, that's like him glowing, right? Right, Brandon?
Oh, you bring so much to this, Ashley. Thank you. Thank you for the
I just.
naked robot comment. Just kidding. It's all fun. I'm sure we all would have noticed that. I didn't. You more so than you guys, because you guys notice every time, like, a Where's Waldo, who's naked and who's got a bulge.
Well, I'm just.
So-
Okay. I mean, come on. I'm always drawing anatomy, so I'm just like anatomy, and then I'm like robot anatomy, and so it's just weird. So.
Do you yell anatomy out when you go to draw it? Anatomy! Like, start drawing.
Feet.
Feet!
Well, you know, I have to act it out. It helps.
Yeah. Foreshortening!
Now I have to make the face that I'm drawing. It's well, you know what? Never mind. That didn't come out.
Right. Oh. Yeah, that's funny. Also, I want to notice, too, Genos gets another crazy hairdo when Saitama gets ready to hit him and doesn't and stops. He gets the Sonic the Hedgehog look.
Oh, I didn't even notice
Yeah,
that.
you gotta look. It's very subtle, but
sharp. It's thick
Yeah.
and to a sharp point.
yeah,
Didn't
it goes.
notice.
Yeah, it took me the second watch through to see that, but I was like, oh look, his hair got fucked up again.
It'll be an ongoing thing, I imagine, throughout the episodes. It'll just different hairstyle. I mean, by episode 10, maybe he'll have dreadlocks. By episode 13, he'll have like a mohawk. You're just gonna keep it going.
Bullets. Well, that would require.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Isn't it funny? His whole body's been replaced with robot parts except the hair.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing Saitama doesn't have.
Oh yeah.
Right? When you think about it, that's good job, Rob. I made an
I'll have
observation.
to say that as far as when you asked about favorite animations, I wouldn't say it's really my favorite animation, but it definitely caught my attention. Was when Saitama walks over to the window and he turns around and he's like, "Oh, I just got a C class," or something like that. Like I can't. Like he turns around. It's like right when they find out that for real, like that he's gotten a C class instead of an S class. And he's like, you just mistook the bottom of the C for an S or whatever. But he turns around and when he's talking, his lips are like really like pronounced, like just really. It's like one of those weird like Ren and Stimpy kind of things where the art's handed off to another artist, and it's like almost crudely drawn.
Right.
And I don't know. It was funny. There were a couple of moments in the episode where he was kind of talking, muttering to himself, and the animation totally changed, and his face was just kind of a little bit more crude than normal.
Yeah,
And
I think that looks like it definitely came from the manga. I don't know
Yeah.
that, but I would say that would be like a manga drawing.
Interesting.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was not as many crazy facial expressions from him in this one.
Nah, but there were a few that were like subtle.
I could have watched a hero thing go on all episode. I thought it would have been great to see more of the crazier heroes because they were saying like everyone, like a bunch of people were applying. It would have been great to see some, just some off the wall ones, or the shit they invent for themselves, like the Crablantes, or
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing, they don't really, they still haven't explained where all these heroes coming from, like, did that start, if the Hero Association started 3 years before, did the hero thing start with Saitama? You know what I mean? Like when did these crazy heroes begin? Because there was no Hero Association, or was it just, I don't know, the world building isn't entirely clear to me yet,
Right.
Well, it would be very ironic if it did start with him, since nobody knows who he is really, even though he does like the most work, it seems like.
So that's something else to mention. His wanting to be known and admired. Saitama, like when Genos is talking about how they can increase their rank through hard work and dedication, and also you can increase rank by popularity, and then Saitama gets all like, whoa.
And then he's like, but no one cares about that. And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, and then it cuts it does a weird jump cut or something. Not a jump cut, but it just cuts weird, like it was going to a commercial or something. And I don't know. I kept rewatching that because I was like, what? But yeah, I definitely.
And he clearly looks jealous when Genos comes back into the udon shop and all the girls want to touch him,
Yeah.
including the old lady.
Shake his hand. Yeah, she goes, ah! Like,
Yeah,
she
he's just
yells.
sitting on the table like, oh, like.
Shaking hands. But yeah.
So overall, with this episode, let's rank it since there's 5 episodes. Well, out of 1 to 5, Brandon, where would this be so far in your ranking?
Out of like ranking them one,
Yeah, yeah.
I'd say 3, 4,
That's
4,
good. Yeah, that's a good.
3 or 4.
Yeah. Ashley,
Wait, which one?
I
One
sprung
is
this one on you, right?
five is the best.
So far, because we're 5 episodes in, right?
No,
Uh,
so like episode 2 is your favorite episode, so it would be number
okay.
1.
Um, episode 2 was probably my least favorite. So this one would probably be like 3, 2. I don't know. It was all right. It was pretty good. I thought it was funny. Yeah, I would say middle range.
For me, I'd say it's probably my second favorite episode. I really liked the first episode, and this is probably my second favorite. I love hero associations and fucking clubs and like Hydra. There was a comic book that Ape Entertainment did. No one ever read. That was a spoof of Hydra. This guy wrote it was like Hail the Serpent or something, Hail the Kraken, and it was just about all the junior grade soldier types that worked in a Hydra like organization, and they had to clean the floors but it was very fucking funny. Like, it was hilarious, and I always thought like that. This episode brought a little bit of that, like with the training thing. So now that they're in the Hero Association, I'm hoping to see more. You know, not just between the S rank and the A ranks, but I like to see a bit more of the bureaucracy get in the way and, you know,
Or,
the popularity things. Go ahead.
Or wait, now, okay. This is gonna probably tell you my like. Anyway, so what about Hive in Teen Titans? Is that a thing, or is that just from the cartoon?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I never read the Teen Titans comic. Brandon,
Okay.
you seem to know about DC.
Shit, you know, I didn't read a lot of Teen Titans back in the day, but I think some of the characters in that in Hive is real. I mean, I'd have
Okay,
to
'cause
look it
that
up.
kind of
But
reminds me of like the whole like, schooling, heroes, blah blah blah, or association.
Mhm.
Kind of that.
And then lastly, really quick, I want to bring in Saitama does mention his costume could have got burnt up. So
Huh.
I guess it is not immune to fire. Which we learned that one time it got burned up, but then it didn't the last time, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on who is animating it, but whatever. All right, so that's that. Let me just wrap this all up on here. Brandon, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook at Lead Heavy, LEAD Heavy.
And Ashley, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, and I'm Gang Feather. It's GANGFEATHER.
Perfect. And as always, folks, please follow us. Say hi on Twitter at SketchCraft. That's at SketchCraft. Email is rob@sketchcraft.com, Hector. And, and always remember the One Punch Recap show is recorded for a live internet audience and fully supported by viewers like you. Your views matter. Believe me, they really do. Please leave your comments and feedback below. And we'll see you on the next episode, episode 6, The Terrifying City. I guess some action. Okay. I did not expect
Please
that.
subscribe and like us.
All right, that's funny. That's hilarious. All right, see you next week. Bye. Bye. Brandon looks like Saitama. Brandon looks like Saitama.
Bald is beautiful. Bald is beautiful.
Out of here.